Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Mr. Josh bringing you another science experiment. This science experiment is called What Will a Golf Ball Roll On? So let's go ahead and get started. Today, we are going to be looking at what a golf ball might roll better on. Now, golfers play golf on golf courses outside. Golf courses include rough and smooth surfaces. Rough surfaces include areas with tall grass. Now, on a golf course, that is called the rough, and this grass can be anywhere between 2 inches to maybe 4, 5, or 6 inches. So it's some pretty deep grass. Smooth surfaces on a golf course include areas around each hole that are very firm and where the grass is so short the area is almost like a hard floor. These areas are called greens. The roughness or smoothness of an area affects how well a golf ball can roll across it. In this experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to explore the scientific concept of friction by observing how a golf ball rolls across different surfaces. Friction is the force that works against movement. Different surfaces may create more or less friction against moving objects. When an object has less friction against the surface, less force is needed to move the object across the surface. What we're going to do is we're going to roll a golf ball down a ramp and see which surface allows the golf ball to go farther. In science, we try to only change one thing. We are only going to change what's called one variable. That way, when we measure, we know that it is just that variable that affects that measurement. So today, the height of the ramp will stay the same. The ball will stay the same. Only variable that is changing is the type of surface the ball will roll on after it gets off the ramp. What do we know? Well, we know that Amy Bacher-Steady is a golfer. Golfers hit golf balls with golf clubs. Golfers play golf on golf courses. And golf courses have smooth and rough surfaces. In science, we start off with a question that we would like to answer. This is what our experiment is built for. Our experiment is built to answer this question. For this science experiment, our question that we are asking is, what kind of surface will a golf ball roll farther on? Let's go ahead and make a guess or a hypothesis about that question. What do you think? Do you think that a golf ball will roll farther on a rough surface? Or do you think a golf ball will roll farther on a smooth surface? Go ahead, mark your answer. For this experiment, we're going to need a couple of things. We'll need a hard floor. We're going to need a short box. We're going to need a thin book. We're going to need a golf ball. We need a tape measure. We'll need a pencil. we'll need our golf ball distance chart. And we're going to need a grassy area. I went ahead and used a piece of car track for my ramp that I built. Now, this is instead of using a short box in a thin book. And I performed this experiment in 3 different areas. I used a concrete area for my hard floor, and then I found 2 grassy areas because a golf course has different types of grassy areas. They have what's called a fairway, and the grass is cut really short on the fairway. And they have what's called the rough, where the grass is a lot longer. So I do have 2 different grassy areas that I performed this experiment at. Now it's time to look at the directions for the experiment. What are we going to do? It's always important to read through these instructions or these directions before you actually perform the experiment. This way you can kind of plan ahead. You know what comes next. For this experiment, we're going to start out on a hard surface. So find a hard surface. Once you've found your hard surface, you're going to put the box onto the ground. Prop the book against the box to create the ramp. Hold the golf ball at the top edge of the book. Let go of the golf ball. Observe how far the golf ball rolls. Measure the distance. I went ahead and placed a tape measure at the start of the ramp to 25 feet. Once my golf ball passed 25 feet, well, it went far enough. When you measure how far your golf ball traveled, write that distance on the golf ball distance chart. You're going to repeat these steps 2 more times. This is on the hard surface. Now find a grassy area. The first grassy area I used had really short grass. We're going to set up our ramp. Once our ramp is set up, we're going to roll the golf ball down the ramp and measure how far it went. We will write that distance on our distance chart. We're going to repeat these steps 2 more times. To extend this experiment, I used another location that had thicker grass. I wanted to see if how thick the grass was would affect how far the golf ball would roll. I performed the experiment again using the same steps. I placed my ramp down. I placed a ball at the top of the ramp. I let the ball roll down the ramp into the grass. I then measured how far that ball rolled after it got off the ramp. I then repeated the steps another 2 times. So let's go ahead and collect our data. What did we notice? For the hard floor, when I rolled the ball off the ramp, it went over 25 feet on all 3 rolls. When I moved to the grassy area that had the short grass, my first roll was 10 inches from the end of the ramp to where the ball stopped. The second roll was another 10 inches. And then the third roll was able to go 14 inches. Again, I extended the experiment, so I found a grassy area that had longer grass. The first roll only went 2 inches. The second roll went 3 inches. And the third roll, the golf ball traveled 2 inches. So what did we learn during this experiment? What surface did the golf ball roll farther on? Did it roll farther on the hard floor? Did it roll farther on the grass? Or did it roll about the same? Now, for my golf balls, they rolled a lot farther on the hard floor. They would have just kept on rolling until sooner or later they would have slowed down, maybe hit something. How would you describe the surface the golf ball rolled farther on? Would you describe it as rough or smooth? Yeah, the hard floor was pretty smooth. Now, the concrete did have some bumps on it, and you could see that because the golf ball kind of bumped around as it was rolling. But it was a lot smoother than the grass. So for our conclusion, was your guess correct? Yes or no? Remember, this is not a right or wrong answer. Scientists use their hypothesis to come up with an experiment. This is something that they would like to get answered. Sometimes their guess is correct, but sometimes their guess is not correct. And that could lead to more experimentations. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. I enjoyed performing it. This is Mr. Josh. I want y'all to be safe and have fun. Keep on enjoying science, and I will see you later.